These are my grandchildren.
Where's your, is that one live?
Yeah, it is actually.
Is it?
We don't use it in here though.
Yeah, but,
I've got them. I've got
'Cause I
them
knew
over my
you had
whelping.
some
I
in
got them
here.
over my whelping boxes so
Oh.
that I can watch them from the house. Have the puppies.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I knew you've been on the road already and you got live cameras that you can,
Right. We can watch them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or if somebody's stealing them.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? We're here with head coach West Delaware, the 2019 2A Coach of the Year, co-owner of J&J Kennels. How'd you come up with the name?
Well, my whole family has the initials. First name's got a J in it, so we just thought that'd be a good name. J&J Kennels.
The whole family is pretty passionate about this. What's all their roles?
Well, we kind of started out, it was 4-H projects for our kids. So they would take the dogs to obedience trials as part of our 4-H program. And they just kind of got involved that way, and they each had chores to do and taught them responsibility and that type of thing when they were kids.
So how'd you get started with dogs?
Well, we each got my 2 oldest kids a dog for their birthday when they were younger. And I'd always, the guy that I got him from was from Manchester and had a kennel. Well, we'd always talked about how that'd be kind of fun to do this. And he had an illness where he couldn't take care of his dogs. So they called me and asked me if I would take 3 of his females and 1 of his males. And that's kind of how we got started. So that's probably been about 17 years ago. It's kind of how we got going.
So why this breed then?
You know, it's just
And what
pretty
breed
hard.
is it?
It's Labrador Retrievers. And, you know, I've had labs and I've hunted with labs over the years when I was a kid. And there's just, you can't find a better disposition in a dog than labs. And, you know, we have a lot of people that come to our house, kids, friends of our own kids. So we wanted to make sure that we had dogs that were going to be good around other people.
So where do you find your breeding stock?
The females that I have, basically I've kept from my own females because I knew our genetics were good. So right now our females, our youngest females are probably 3rd and 4th generation from our kennel itself. And then we've researched other kennels over the years and, what's the matter? And, you know, found first you got to make sure the genetics are good. And then also we were looking for the whitest that we can find. And so we've had, you know, we've contacted other kennels and have basically gone to 2 other kennels to get our males over the years.
So how many do you keep on hand at a time?
Well, right now I have 11 dogs, but we're only breeding 3. And 2 more will breed for the first time this coming cycle, this winter sometime. But, you know, once we get the dogs, they become part of our family. So when they're no longer breeding, it's just not like we give them, you know, they stay here until Mother Nature takes over and where we find a special home for them when they get older.
So how long is a dog's gestation?
63 days.
So how many litters a year do you have with the dogs?
Basically once a year, about every 7 months, the dogs will cycle. And you know, sometimes depending on how the mom recovers from her litter, if she's had a real big litter, we'll skip a cycle and then go to the next one. But,
So what makes a good pup?
well, I think first you got to make sure you have good genetics. Large breed dogs are susceptible to hip dysplasia, so all of our dogs have been tested for hip dysplasia. And
Which is what?
it's where basically the ball doesn't fit into the socket very well. And that can be a genetic trait that's passed along. And we get their elbows tested for the same thing, alignment. And we test their eyes for different disorders that can be genetic as well.
So how long do you keep a mom around then? Or how many litters does a mom have?
We're finding
Average.
Yeah, we're finding now when they're about 7. So we don't breed them until they're 2. So they'll have puppies for about 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
When you have a buyer, do you do any research on the buyers?
We
You check them out.
We do. I mean, and over the years, I mean, you can see the Christmas cards we get and that type of thing. We've, a lot of our puppies have a lot better life than I do. But, yeah, I think we've been very fortunate over the years that our pups go to good homes, and we encourage people to come here so we can meet them and they can see what we do as well.
That's just what I was going to ask you, if you let potential buyers come out and look.
We encourage them all to come, yeah.
What's the process of selling a dog then?
Well, we have a website that we post upcoming litters on,
Which is?
jnjkennels.com, and people will email us to see if we have litters coming. So then we put their name on a list, and then when the puppies are born, we call those people, and so then we'll call those people and ask them if they want to put down a deposit. If they put down a deposit, that reserves their pick in the litter. And at about 4.5 weeks, we start having people make their picks, and then they pick their puppies up between 6 and 8 weeks.
How far away have you shipped your pups?
Most of the people will drive, but I've shipped, the furthest I've ever gone was probably about 8 years ago. We shipped a puppy to Alaska, and they just don't raise labs in Alaska. So, but I would say per year, maybe 1 or 2 get on a plane. But we've had people drive here from Colorado. I've had someone drive here from New Jersey to get pups.
Since they're driving that far, what is the, because you said they're partially registered, what is all that?
We sell our puppies limited registration, which means somebody cannot breed the dog and sell them as AKC registered pups. AKC started promoting this probably about 6-7 years ago, just to prevent the backyard breeder that is not doing all the health certifications and that type of thing. And so that's how we sell our puppies. They're fully registered dogs. We just don't sell them with breeding rights.
Is your kennel state regulated?
We are licensed through the state of Iowa, so we get inspected by the state every year, unannounced, and then we also get inspected by AKC once a year, unannounced.
What do they look for in the facility?
AKC is really particular about breeding records. So, when someone buys a pup, they can register it through AKC. I have to have documentation here for that registration number that that's who that dog went to. So AKC is real picky on that. The state, cleanliness, just health of the dogs. Are your records up to date? Do you have an emergency plan set up if something happened? So there's a lot of things that they look for the safety of the dogs.
What's the process of getting a pup then?
Well, you put down a deposit, you get the dog, and make your pick. And usually the puppy picks the owner, and then we keep in contact with we send pictures to them every week so they know how the puppy's going, how it's growing, and then between 6 and 8 weeks the people will come and take their pup home, and then we usually we follow up with them to make sure it's going well and help them out with training.
And what was your website again?
jnjkennels.com.
Interesting. Well, it looks like, how many dogs did you say you have on hand now?
Right now we have 11, and 5 of them are retired.
Well, good for you. And thanks for doing this. And the pups are just awesome.
Yeah, they're just. I always tell people, when I go to school in the morning, I get out here about 6 o'clock, and I get about a half hour of pet therapy before I go to school. And if you have a bad day at school, you can come home and have pet therapy again. So, it's a lot of fun.
Well, thanks again for doing this. That's I'd seen them before, but this is a pleasure.
Yeah, it's good to have you guys out here.
All right, thanks.